Here's a phrase you might have heard before: those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And that could be true for the current crop of high-powered muscle cars coming out of Germany. This is the Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG, which is code for goes like stink and uses a lot of gas. You see, we've seen this movie before. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, the big three from Detroit were battling head-to-head to come up with the most powerful car, the muscle car era. Then the energy crisis hit in the early 70s. Muscle cars disappeared and we didn't see them for decades. They are back, but for the most part, it isn't Americans building today's hot rods. It's BMW, Audi, and Mercedes. The C-Class is the second smallest Mercedes on the road in North America, but it has an amazing 451 horsepower from a huge V8 engine. You see, those muscle cars from the 60s, they were great in a straight line, but today's super fast sedans, they have the luxury to coddle the occupants, plus they have the handling that would put a 70s supercar to shame. But could this be the last hurrah before the environmental movement and the cost of energy slows the horsepower race out of Germany? It might just be. So before that happens, let's have a look at what could be the end of a dying breed. The C63 AMG gets all the tasty add-ons like bulging hood, bigger front and rear spoilers, side skirts, big exhaust tips, and 18-inch wheels. 18-inch wheels? You gotta be kidding! These wheels and tires look dated, and the size will have owners going into spasms of wheel envy. They look silly on a car of this substance. Styling is much better than Mercedes have passed, but still not the prettiest girl in school. Plus, there's no coupe. So BMW has the styling edge over this car with the M3. The interior of the C63 really isn't that much different than the regular C-Class, except the bolstered seats are really quite thick, so chunky folks need not apply. I had this criticism when we had the C350 out last year. The materials they use on the dash and the doors are all the same, really. It isn't broken up. It's not as nice as the M3 or just the regular 3 Series, and nowhere near as nice as the Audi S5. On the dash is the radio navigation screen that folds into the dash. You decide whether it's funky or silly. Plus an iDrive-like knob on the center console that is, thank goodness, easier to operate than the BMW system. This Mercedes comes well equipped with all kinds of goodies, but to get navigation and a few other electronic goodies, you have to pony up another $4,800 to get the premium package. Even with that, you get one hell of a deal with this car. You see, the base C63 is $63,500. Even when you add in that premium package, it's still cheaper than the base M3. Plus, you get this. $451 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque. And that sound. The M3 has 37 less horsepower and a lot less torque, almost 150 pound-feet less. And that, my friends, is what the average driver feels from stoplight to stoplight. So for straight stump-pulling power, this C63 is the bargain of the bunch. And I can guarantee you that the majority of high-powered German car owners just drive them on the street. They don't take them to the track. So this C63 has a good balance. First of all, there's no manual transmission. It's a slick 7-speed automatic transmission that does a good job of putting the power down. There's a sport mode that's very intuitive and always has the car in the medium rev range. There's also a full manual mode with paddle shifters, but it isn't the new double clutch variety found in the M3. There's even a comfort mode for more sedate city driving. Well, the C63 doesn't have an adjustable suspension. Mercedes tried to come up with a compromise between comfort and performance, and for the most part, they've achieved it. It's only when you get over the bumpiest of roads that the occupants are rattled on the inside. Now, the old C-Class was never a performance handling machine. This new one, however, handles very nicely. Turn-in is precise, it feels well balanced, but for me, if I was going to go out to the ragged edge in a sedan, I'd probably stick with the M3 from BMW. One of the most intoxicating things is the engine and exhaust note. When downshifting, the engine is blipped automatically, and there's even a hint of gurgle from the exhaust. Great stuff, and I would never get tired of it. What I would get tired of is watching the gas gauge go down as the speedometer goes up. See, on our trip computer here, it says we're using 26 liters per 100 kilometers. I'll do the math for you. That's 11 miles to the gallon. Now, the official numbers for Mercedes-Benz in the city are 16 miles per gallon. It sucks. Gas, that is. BMW used to have this market all to itself with the M3, but now there's a cheaper, more powerful performance car on the lot, and it's called the Mercedes C63. Enjoy the German muscle car craze, because if history repeats itself, cars like this will be but a memory.
To purchase this car, new or used, go to driving.ca.